Representative Mary Murphy is the chair of the House Redistricting Committee, and I spoke with her this week about their proposal to redraw Minnesota's legislative and congressional districts. Upon release of the House Redistricting Map proposal, you called it the People's Map. What did you mean?
I think the strength of our map came from the people of Minnesota. We had posted notices all across the state, in every region, in every congressional district. And we urged and embraced the many people who came to give testimony, and we listened to them. And so it is indeed the people's map, because we made many changes as we went along. This is not a one-time map. This is probably the 11th map that we tried out on ourselves and then listened again to the public testimony. And that, I think, is the strength of our map, and that is the strength of the legislative process that was used to get to the point that our committee passed this map and asked for a bill to be formed.
Now, your committee held, as you just said, many public meetings. You got input from people all over the state. In reviewing your plans, and I know you were trying to adhere to certain legislative principles or redistricting principles like keeping local communities together, how well did you meet those goals?
I think we met those goals very well, in the sense that we made changes as they commented about their communities, like where there was no bridge at the rivers, so that a community could be contiguous, or that their economy was based on a regional economy rather than a precinct level economy kind of things. And one thing that we heard that also leads is the importance of the school district lines, and in rural Minnesota and in metropolitan Minnesota. And I don't think any redistricting or reapportionment committees in the past have based some of their districts based on school district lines and how they crossed maybe a county line even. And that was the strength of the people's voice.
And that certainly is an important consideration. How would the House map do in terms of increasing ethnic representation in both the legislature and Congress? I know much of our population growth has been due to the increase in the BIPOC population. Is that enhanced in any way, or was that taken into consideration in drawing these maps?
Indeed it was, and because for the first time the census results had a much more detailed, or the numbers that we got from the census for the population showed much more, gave us much more hints than any other committee has ever received on where the growth was and where the growth will continue to be for individual communities of interest and the BIPOC interests. And especially, we always knew how important the tribes were. But we have much better information this time to detail and our map just listen to the northern tribes, especially in Minnesota, and what they wanted to be together. And I have, if I could, this is so impactful. Chairman Fairbanks from White Earth Reservation said to us, and I quote, "The committee should consider boundaries that keep these three communities intact. The Ojibwe people know that we are strong together. To separate White Earth and Red Lake and from Leech Lake does not keep our communities whole and it dilutes our shared voice as sovereign Indigenous people.
I'm so glad that you brought that up, because on your map, I noticed that if your map were to become law, Senate District 2 would include all 3 of those reservations in one Senate district for the first time. What would that mean for Indigenous representation?
I think that would mean that they could possibly, before the next election, before the next reapportionment, they could have a common working together on many things in their region, and they could have an elected representative who is a member of one of their nations.
I'd like to ask you a question about the congressional map, because the House and the Senate versions are strikingly different. The House map has the 8th district go across the entire northern portion of the state. The southwest part is the 7th district, and the 1st district is the southeast corner that includes Rochester. What was the rationale for this change in congressional districts?
The shift in populations, the changes in the agricultural communities, on the economic base, not the economic base of the agricultural communities, but that there are larger, fewer farms. And there will be in the future, with the kinds of real estate kind of deals that are being made throughout the state, and the shift in population, the majority of the population being much closer to the metropolitan area. And so the northern part of the state, the 8th Congressional District, has always been reliant and economically and recreationally and a place for timber and tourism and agriculture and but specialty kind of things, peat, fishing, hunting, our way of life, the quality of life, not just for the people in the northern 8th district, but the people from all over the state. But we have the people doing many things, they're recreating, and now with the opening of technology and working from home kind of thing, even more so for the future. So why shouldn't we put all the economy and natural resources and recreational resources and the water things that we use for everyday quality living, keep that all together and out of the metro area so much, not have so much of the metro area in the districts. Look at Southwest. There's Southwest in the 7th district now where it is. There's a growing BIPOC area in there. There's less certain kind of farming, but soybeans and wheat farming and harvesting is the main point of life. So the traditional kind of farming is still, there's a place and a home for that without interference of other kinds of things that are kind of put it together. And then the 1st district is switched to manufacturing and educational kinds of things more. And so those are outside. And then the rest of the population has a similar kind of thing bringing them together.
Representative,
so I went on too long.
Well, just very, very quickly, as succinctly as you can, are you hopeful that an agreement can be reached with the Senate to make these maps law?
Yes, I am. But to be honest, we have the legislative process that we have to go through too. I have the jackets to our map and the things that we did in my committee. The vote was that we would ask the revisor for the bill. And the bill has been delivered to me, and I'm ready to send the yellow jackets over to the Senate. But we still have to take the bill to the floor of the House of Representatives, so all the representatives have a say in adjusting things or changing things, amendments.
Right.
And the same process has to take place with Senator Johnson's map.
Correct. Correct. And we will all be watching very interestedly. Representative Mary Murphy, thank you so much.
Thank you.